How are you all? I hope everyone are doing good. Welcome to computer class. In today's class, we'll be learning about chapter 2. Chapter 2, GUI operating system and desktop management. GUI operating system, desktop management. In this chapter, we will be learning about Windows 7, Windows desktop, start button, control panel, personalizing the desktop and controlling the system date and time. So I want everyone, all the students, to listen for this class carefully and observe the images that is displayed on the screen. First of all, before knowing all these things, we should know what is an operating system. The chapter name is GUI operating system and desktop management. First, we have to know what is operating system. Operating system is nothing but it is a special program that makes the computer work. Yes, without the operating system, your computer won't work. So every computer must and should have operating system. Operating system has an abbreviation as OS. Operating system, shortly called as OS. It must be in every computer. Without the operating system, your computer won't work. Okay. Operating system acts as an interface between the user and the computer. So if you want to instruct anything to the computer, first you need to have an operating system. So operating system will carry whatever the input or whatever the output from the computer or from the user. So it acts as an interface between the user and the computer system. First, from the hardware we will give input to the computer. So operating system identify which one is the input devices or which one is the output devices and takes to the particular application or the apps that you are using and gives to the user. This is the work of the operating system. It performs the primary tasks like identifying the input devices and taking the input. For example, if I am typing something on the keyboard, so it has to identify, okay, keyboard, from the keyboard I am getting the input. Operating system has to identify the input. Because sometimes we will be using together keyboard and the mouse, and sometimes we will be using also the web camera, sometimes we will be using the microphone. All these things should be identified by the operating system and take the input from the user and give it to the computer system, and it sends the output to the output devices. Next one we have, it should give the output. When we are giving the input to the computer, we have to get the output after the processing is done, right? So operating system will give the output to the output devices like printer. If I want anything on the paper, so I will get from the printer. First I have to select the printer name and then I will get the printout. So all these things should be taken care by the operating system. If I want my result to be displayed on the monitor screen, it will be displayed on the monitor screen. Sometimes I want to hear any audio file I am opening, so it has to identify which is the output devices that user can listen for the audio. It has to identify it is as a speaker. This is the work of the operating system. So under operating system we have different types. Some of the most popular operating system as MS-DOS, MS Windows, Unix, Linux and Mac OS. These are the popular operating system. Next one we have user interface. So when I have to interact with the computer, I have to some interface should be there between the computer and the user. What are the user interface? Let us see. User interface, it is nothing but interaction between the computer and the user. Like from the screen, monitor screen, I can see anything, or from the keyboard I can type anything, or from the mouse I can point it out. And these are known as user interface. And some applications, I can open some application or I can open some website. These are known as user interface. Under user interface we have two types. Under user interface we have two types, that is character user interface and graphical user interface. Character user interface is shortly called as CUI and graphical user interface is shortly called as GUI. What is character user interface? It is also known as command line user interface. Command line user interface. No graphics, graphical user interface is there. It refers to just text or commands or codes that user can input to the computer. Like graphical user interface is like only writing codes into the computer. When you want to start the computer, you have to write the code to start the computer, or if you want to open any application in the computer, so you have to write the code for that. If you want any output from the computer, for that also you need to write the code. It is very difficult for the beginners when it comes to character user interface, right? So this is known as character user interface. This character user interface is mostly used by the programmers. For them it is easy because they are having they know which code, when to use, where to use, comma, full stop, where and all to use. You can also become a programmer in the future, and you can write your own, you can build one application using the character user interface. Okay, this is how character user interface looks. Some of the programs C, C++ will be all running through this character user interface only. And you can see on the screen, this is known as character user interface. Only with the codes or with the commands your computer can start, or whatever you want the data, you can take that. If you miss one semicolon or one comma, whole program goes wrong and you won't get the proper output. When you are going to use the character user interface, you should know the codes first. You should know what you have to use, where you have to use. And another one we have graphical user interface. Graphical user interface, from the name only we can understand that graphics. What is the meaning of graphics? All the pictures, all the images. By looking at that only we can identify this is this only. This is the standard centered user interface. This is specially designed for the beginners from the programmers. For programmers have developed this graphical user interface to operate the computer like electronic devices, like buttons. We may be having scrolling buttons, windows, tab, menus, cursor and mouse pointers, and we get some OK button, some dialog box will open. All these things are known as graphical user interface. By looking at the picture only, by looking at the symbol only, we can identify, okay, I have to press this, have to press that, all those things. And we are also have voice commands also. On the touch screen in our mobile, we are having for gallery one image, for WhatsApp another logo, or for the files we are having another logo. All these things are known as the graphical user interface, that is represented by the graphics. You can see in the desktop it looks like this. The windows will be displayed like this, and on the windows you can see like Google Chrome, Word document, PPT or the Excel, or what are the files that you may contain on your computer. It will be displayed like this. And you can see down, you can see type anything that you want to search, or you can see some Wi-Fi logo also, date and time, or from any instructions that computer needs, files, what are the file managers, or the that is present in the computer. This is how graphical user interface looks like. When it comes to OK, you can see that button OK, or if you want to play any video, you can see that video playing buttons like this, and you can pause the video also with 2 lines we get, and mouse pointer also. It is also another type of graphical user interface. Some files, with the file, if you are opening any Word document up, it will be written as Word, or if it is a PDF document, it will be like PDF.pdf. You can see the file extension and you can identify this file is only this. This is known as graphical user interface. What is the difference between graphical user interface and character user interface? Graphical user interface always contains icons, pointers, menus and windows. All these are the graphical. In the character user interface, always you have to use commands, codes. With that only you can operate anything on the computer. For the beginners, character user interface will be difficult. So if you want to use character user interface, you should be thorough with what are the codes that you need to write. What are the codes that you need to have, you need to input to the computer. Whereas in graphical user interface, by just representation of that symbol or representation of that images, you can identify, okay, I have to click on this, I have to click on that. So the graphical user interface is very easy for us to use. If it is a beginners also, they can use it easily. And some of the examples for user interface includes computer mouse, this is graphical user interface, and remote control and visual realities, and in ATM machines. In ATM machines we have seen, right, when you input your cards, you will get a notification, enter the PIN number, you will enter it, you will get a buttons, or from now we have ATMs that is designed like touch screen also. Then you can withdraw how much money you can, all that you can select in the from the images or from the what it will be written. You can identify that and you can click on, you can draw the money. These are the steps that is followed by the graphical user interface. And most of the computers or the personal computers or the laptops will be having Microsoft Windows as its operating system. So Microsoft is developed by Microsoft Corporation from USA. It is used for many personal computers or desktop computers or for laptops. The logo of the Microsoft is here. You can look at the logo of the Microsoft. And Bill Gates is the founder of Microsoft. Bill Gates is the founder of the Microsoft. Here we have an image of Bill Gates. He is one who is the founder of Microsoft company. When you start the computer, when you click on start, when you switch on the computer, then we will on the UPS button, then we will again on the CPU box, then we will on the monitor. When you on the monitor screen, it will be displayed like this. You might be having Windows 7, Windows XP, any Windows that your computer contains, you will get a display like this. This is known as booting of the computer. Starting process of the computer is known as booting of the computer. Okay, under Microsoft Windows we have different versions like Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 95, Windows Vista and Windows 10. You have to remember the latest version of Windows is Windows 10. Latest version of Windows is Windows 10. And why many of the laptops or why many of the computers will be having a operating system as Microsoft? Because it is very easy to use. It is graphic based. For us, if it is a graphic based, it is very easy for us. Then programs arranged in a different files and different folders, and it has icons that helps us to get the task quickly. So Microsoft is chosen as the operating system. The first edition of Windows operating system was introduced in 1995 and was called as Windows 95. The first version of the Windows is Windows 95. You have to remember this. After that only we get Windows XP, Windows 7 or Windows Vista, and now we are having Windows 10 as the Windows from the Microsoft company. Another common operating system for handheld devices or your smartphones or your tablets are Linux and Android. These are the most commonly used Android devices. And now we are having which is the latest version of Android is Android 8.0. Android 8.0, it is known as Oreo. It is known as Oreo. In today's class we have learned about what is operating system, what is the difference between the user interface like graphical user interface and the character user interface, and we learned about the Windows, that is Windows, different versions of Windows, and we have also learned about from which company it is, and we saw the founder also. So I hope everyone have understood this class. If you have still more any doubts, we can discuss in the discussion class. Note it down on a piece of paper or note it down in your notes. So when I take the discussion class, you can ask your doubts and clarify. Thank you. Have a nice day, students.